So I got called to serve in Tuvalu a little bit after my year mark. So I'd already been in Fiji for a year and I'd already trained twice and felt really good about my Fijian. I got sent there and I was a new missionary again. I would sit in lessons and my companion would be teaching and he'd look at me and I'd look at him and he'd expect me to share something and I'd be totally lost. So it's humbling to start all over again after you started a year before. So it was a new experience, but it's really similar to Samoan. Um, it shares with other Polynesian languages, including Fijian. It has tense markers, which were weird, and noun markers, which were weird when I first started learning Fijian. After learning Fijian, it seemed a lot more natural to me to pick up Tuvaluan, so it came quicker. Um, I had about 3 months to learn it because after 3 months I got a new companion and he didn't know any. He was from American Samoa, so he'd heard some Samoan before, but he couldn't speak any of it. So I had about 3 months to be able to learn it so that I could take over and be the one that would have to teach it after that. But grammatically, it's pretty similar. It's cool. You can create a noun on any word just by adding a ga at the end, which is the nga sound. So to whakaoso is to tempt, and a temptation, make it a noun, it's just whakaososonga. You just put on the ga. And to make it passive, you just add a gina at the end of words, which I thought was interesting. So whakaososongina was tempted. It sounds like you say the F word all the time, because to make a verb, you put whaka, the prefix, onto a word. So missionary work is dengaluenga whaka misanale. So it sounds like you're smart all the time, but you're not. But yeah, it's just like a mix of Samoan and Tongan. So if I hear Samoan spoken, I can understand a little bit of it. If I hear some Tongan, I can understand a little bit of it. I can't speak either of them, but if I speak Tuvaluan, they can understand some of it. So it's kind of cool because they're all kind of come from the same place. So to say hello, you say talofa. To ask how are you, say akoe. To say goodbye, you say tofa. The church is, you usually wear a Samoan name badge because it's the closest name to the church in Tuvaluan, but the church in Tuvaluan actually isn't like authorized because it's just not, there's no Book of Mormon in it, there's hardly any materials in it. So the church is Te Kalesia a Jesu Kiliso mo Tinomao sa Whakamuli. And it's interesting because, like I said, there's no material, so when you teach the gospel and you share about the Book of Mormon after teaching about the restoration, normally you're going to have to give them an English Book of Mormon and kind of explain it to them in Tuvaluan and maybe read a couple passages with them and try to help them understand. There's a couple ward members that are really great at both languages. So going to church, it's great because they get someone who understands the gospel in English that can clearly explain it in Tuvaluan. So that's really helpful. And it was interesting too because I saw young members who had done scripture study with their parents that were able to read the English Book of Mormon so well, just so much better than like any of the older members because they'd grown up doing it and that understanding had just been there their whole lives. So it was really cool to see their understanding of the Book of Mormon in English and be able to explain it in Tuvaluan.